right, next up, HT133. This one's used commercially, so that's why it's in the state it's in. Yep. First thing we're gonna do, I have all my parts out right here. This has a broken spacer flange, which is this guy right here. The gaskets we're gonna need, new air filter, if I can get that in there. And the choke knob, as you can see, the choke knob is broken off. You almost pull that out. Still kind of works, but it's snapped off, so we're gonna replace that as well. And that's the number for there. Yeah, we're gonna get into this. No complaints I heard about the shaft. And you can tell the spacer flange is broke. You see how much that's wiggling around? That's not good at all. So we're gonna go ahead and get into this. Remove the shaft from it, set it off to the side, and then get into the HT133. See what we got. All right, so starting off first, we're gonna pick up our tools that if we knock over, we're gonna just pick them up. Go ahead and, then as you can see, as I'm taking out screw number 1, the muffler is smashed in, which that is restricting the flow of exhaust coming out, which is putting a little bit of stress on there. So we're gonna bend that back to let the flow go a little bit better. Here we go. Well, and that was one bolt. I'm taking off the air box cover. Here, oh yeah, falling apart. That's why that's gonna be gone. See if I got it this morning. How we feeling? Nope. Oh, look at that. Right there. Piece of the spacer flange falling out. Definitely confirming that it is broke. Oh, it's stuck on the head. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So there's our spacer flange behind the carburetor. The lever looks good. So we're just gonna take that out and put it onto the new spacer flange. Fix the carburetor while we're in here, but yeah, I'd say that's pretty cracked and good and broken, causing a massive air leak. Let's go ahead and get it off of there. Jeez, we got pieces of that stuff falling out all over the place. So before I take off the carburetor, I'm gonna go ahead and take out this drive shaft just to make it a little bit easier to work with. That's just these 3 little bolts. 1, 2, 3. Easy as that. I'm gonna pull the drive shaft right out. Go ahead and set it on over there. Out the way. Now, we can get this starting to come out here. Go ahead and get this. Oh, yep. Oh, that's off and gone. We'll get that in a minute. At least we got a bead on which way it rolled to. It's real fun when those hit the ground. You see it hit the ground, and then it's into the black abyss. It's gone. So go ahead and pop this right off, just like that. Hey, we got just pieces. Oh yeah. This wasn't even in. Your pulsar hose wasn't even in. Look at that. Just completely cracked and beat up. Once we get there, should go pretty easy from here. All right, go ahead and get this carburetor off. Handy dandy screwdriver. Pop it right in there and give it a twist. That usually comes right out. Remember, I don't even know if there's gas in here, but we're gonna loosen that up just so when you take off these fuel lines, you don't get sprayed, as it will spray you directly in the face and not care. There we go. That I should not have been able to do because it's supposed to be attached to that. Holy cow, that's a doozy, but I don't see any further damage. So let's go ahead, take the lever off all the way down. Yeah, it's your throttle cable. Yep, lever's tabbed. Still looks really nice. You're gonna now see if you try to put it in like this, it ain't gonna go in. has to go almost upside down, and then it slides in, and then it's locked in. You can't get it out. That's just kind of the way that I'd leave that in there if you can. Sometimes it falls out, no big deal. Undo the first one, unscrew the second, try and get it out. And there we have what is left of that. I did good. So now we'll go ahead and blow this out, get ready to install the new spacer flange. Alright, so while we have the carburetor off and before we do the spacer flange and all that, let's go ahead and fix this guy up. This is the choke knob we're replacing here. One little screw, and then this should pop right off like so. With the spring, cut this guy open. Now this does come with a new screw and a spring, so very carefully pour it out. There they are. There we go. There we go. So first thing's going on, the spring. Spring goes on first. I can get it to set up. There we go. Little tab here, little opening there. Right in, and twist it. And now it's locked in. We're just gonna lightly put this over so it doesn't untwist. And there we go. You can see that felt right. It fell right into where it was supposed to. This is a little difficult. You have to hold down the holder and get that screw in there just so. And then I hope your screwdriver is magnetic. That'll just pick it right up out of the hole you previously put it in. Here we go. Here we go. Can I get it? Just like that. I hope you can see that. I hope that was seen. Now we check the function. Look at that. Easy peasy. Get it a little tight. Seems to be working out really nicely. Can loosen it just a hair. You can test that yourself. Lock it in, and then all I'm doing there is that. There's a new choke knob on that. So now that we have the new choke knob on, the knife is put away, screwdriver's put away. Let's go ahead and set up our new spacer flange here. These two bolts have to come out. Then we have the new. Oh, it must have updated. Oh, nope. That must be a new gasket. Or they had the wrong gasket on there. So after taking a second to look, this is the gasket I need. And the number here matches the number here. But that is clearly not the same gasket and a different hole size. So maybe that's a mistake on someone. I'm gonna get the right gasket though to go in here. Let's go solve this problem. And as if by magic, we have the correct gasket now in the bag, thanks to my lovely service writer. Went and had a little chat with parts about what that gasket was in there, but I digress. We have the right gasket, so we're not going to use that anymore. Not going to use that. This piece, very useful, but we're not going to use it anymore. That should be over there. We'll get all this out the way. How we're going to set up this guy is to just put them right in there. Make sure they fall down into the slots like so. And here's a little kind of trick that I've done. We're going to get our first gasket. This is the correct one, by the way. For here, you can almost see how these holes are imperfect. They're not perfect holes, and that's done on purpose. That's to actually hold on to the back of the screw, and you'll see exactly why here in a moment. So I like to start, we're not going to put this screw through first because it has to be through there. So if we just barely push that on, look at that, boop, and now it's pretty much on there. It's not going to come off easily, which is very handy. Because the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to leave this hanging down like this. I hope you can see this. I'm going to leave it hanging down. Kind of wiggle this right in, make sure your impulse hose is clear, and go ahead and put that screw right into the first hole there. And we're just going to screw that in ever so slightly. Just a little bit. Just a little touch there. And now, we reach over here if we can. We can actually grab this gasket and slide it right up. I mean, just as easy as day, just like that. You see, I just grabbed the back of it, and now I can move it up and down like so. I really hope I'm getting this. I hope you guys can see this. I apologize if you can't. Don't forget, we're gonna put that right in like so, and keep your throttle cable kind of clear of it. Just right in like that. Line up the hole, and we're gonna start that screw as well. Just like that. So now I know the gasket's in. We're gonna have a nice clear seal, and you can see that nice uniform gasket in there just like that. It takes a little bit of doing, it takes a little bit of practice. I've fixed these 1,000 times, so even though it looked like I was struggling, that's it. That was easy. That was how it was supposed to go. And now we're in. We can go ahead and tighten these guys down. We'll move the throttle cable back into its holder. Then go ahead and throw the carburetor back on. Alrighty, so in all the chaos, this orange holder, throttle cable holder, has come off and is now loose and everywhere. If this gets twisted around, it could be kind of hard to figure out how to get this back in. But if you look at this ridge right here, and you can see that ridge, you just run that orange right along that ridge, that orange holder right along that ridge, and you'll know you're good if that lines up right in there. So that's on there now, in there solid, nice and easy. Go ahead and put your throttle cable back in the holder. I hope I'm getting this, because this is always sometimes a very fun part of the job, is to get this back into the holder. There she goes. Now once I get it right there, you can see the clip. It's going under the clip. Push it right in. There's also a slot right there for the throttle cable to guide through on. So once that's in there, once this is pushed back down in there, that's about pretty good. We can go ahead and tighten these guys down. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Let's go ahead. I like to put this in first. Put your throttle cable in first. Then we're going to go upside down. Like I said, could be a little difficult to pull this, push it, but it will fall right in. Go ahead, give her a test squeeze. We're moving pretty good there. It's looking nice. Now before we put the carburetor back on, I always like to grab these, kind of pull them a little bit and make sure they're free and loose. The reason for that is while putting the spacer flange on, it could back out a little bit and twist, and one will be longer, one will be shorter, and you won't be able to actually put your nuts back on and tighten this down, and have to take off everything to turn it and pop it like that. So if you know if they're freely moving in here, they're in the slots they're supposed to be, and we're ready to move on to the next spot, to the next end. All right, next up, the famous gasket. There it is, brand new. Should slide right on. Holes line up perfectly. I love it. Now this is gonna get a little difficult. Sometimes it's a little difficult because this has to go into that, which is sometimes easier said than done. So I'm gonna show you guys the easiest way that I've found to do it. Kind of sneak my finger around and push it down as it's sliding on. Let me see if I can get this as it's sliding on. Kind of use both my fingers and slide it down and push it down as hard as I can, because you can see it gets caught on that lip, I hope, and it's really irritating. But if you just smash it down a little bit and give it some pressure with your thumb, there it goes. I hope you can see that, but it slides right on like there. And now your impulse hose is hooked up correctly, which is extremely important. Go ahead and reconnect your return hose. Get the return on there and your fuel line back on. Easy peasy. See if I can. I should needle nose. There it goes. Nice up and on. Can't forget about our throttle linkage here. Just give it a little bit of a turn up. I hope I get this too. And then I just push. Snaps right in. Go ahead and give her a few tests. And we can test out our new choke knob. Beautiful. Pretty easy. I like to move the tank vent stem out just a little bit off of that return line, so that this slides right back in pretty easily. Hopefully. I hope. There it goes. Slide right on. Your gasket's still on the back of here, which is good. Get it right in like so. We're gonna put our nuts back on, see if she fires up. Alright, so now that our nuts are back on and secured on, everything looks good. Now see how you can't move that at all, like in the beginning of the video where I could move it and it was all broke up? It's on there solid onto the motor now, all ready to go. Remember this guy, all smashed in. I'm just gonna very gently and daintily try and open that up so the exhaust can come straight out now. It is smashed in. I'm going to recommend a new muffler. Like I said, this particular unit has been back a lot. You can see they don't take the absolute best care of it. It gets dinged, it gets beat up, but they use this thing all the time. So it's pretty much constantly in for repairs. You know, broken spacer flanges, broken recoils, dented mufflers, all sorts of stuff like that. But they only wanted this done, figure out all this good stuff. So we're gonna fire it up, see if it runs, and I'll make my recommendations on the work order so that the parts can call them up and see if they'd want to proceed with doing more. But they usually just wanted to get on and start running. So that's kind of the explanation of why I'm not addressing all the other things I see. That's just something I saw and I know it's restricting it. So I'll make that comment on there. 9 times out of 10, they're not going to do it with this particular company. We know them pretty well. We have a good relationship with them. So it is what it is. But let's go ahead and get it back on the pole. See how it sounds when it starts up, if our crankshaft is running, or crankshaft, if our drive shaft is running properly, turning the head properly. We'll go ahead and check the valves while we're in here too. Why not? All right, this next step can be a pain, but with some patience and determination, it will go in and you will be able to get it in. So let's go ahead and first off put this control handle on, and we're gonna guide it in best we can. And well, that never happens, but it just happened. The drive shaft actually went right into the drum, the clutch drum, so I actually didn't have to struggle with that nearly as much as I thought I was going to, which is nice. We're gonna go ahead and make sure that's straight and then tighten down that bottom. So now we're locked in pretty straight with the unit straight. Turn your handle a bit to get it as straight as you can. Easy peasy. Now, adjust the valve. Whoa. There we go. Got our valve cap off. Go ahead and get this guy off. And grab our handy dandy. Yeah, which one was that? I didn't even see that fall on there nicely like that. And we'll just remove this real quick. There you are. Have a quick look. Spark plug looks alright. So now we're going to adjust these valves. Now, just like before, we want to get the motor into top dead center on the compression stroke. The way we can tell that, I got my handy dandy flashlight. I'm going to watch the piston go up, bounce down. And you can see this exhaust valve moving. So we know that's not the compression stroke at top dead center right there. That was on the exhaust stroke. But as soon as the piston starts to move back down, you see that intake stroke happening. Now that I've known that's moved, right there at top dead center, we have our arrow pointing at our post here. That's top dead center. They can move freely on the compression stroke. Now we're ready to see if we are in spec, out of spec, too tight, too loose. We're a little loose there and a little loose there. And these are very, very sensitive. You can see it barely looked like I turned it at all. And there it is. See that? And I can, with very little pressure, I can pull it out. It's a little tight. We'll just barely touch it. And there we go. Nice and smooth. Little force to take it out. And we're gonna do the exact same thing over here. Oh, right there. Nice and smooth, nice and smooth. Easy peasy. Get it back on there. Get it tightened down there. We're gonna throw our spark plug back in. We're getting dangerously close here, seeing if she's gonna fire up and how she's gonna run. All right, so right before we test this, I'm gonna go ahead and put our shroud back on. This almost works like Tetris. It only goes in one way. And once you just wiggle it around a little, you'll get it in there just right. Then it'll slide right on. Tie her down. Just like that. New air filter in. And then air filter cover. Right back on. Let's see if she's going to want to start up for us. Prime her a little bit. Primed right up. Oh yeah. And our chain's moving down here. Got a little bit of a hang up as you heard there, and she doesn't want to idle. So just like in the other videos, I'm gonna adjust the idle, adjust the carburetor, and get it running nicely. Go ahead and see if we can get this carburetor running just a tad bit better. Now we got our idling. I want to adjust this low side. Oh yeah. There she goes. Not sounding too bad at all. Turn her off. Yeah, we'll get it back out there. On to the next one. So now that we have it idling good, running good, sounding good, drive shafts are moving just for funsies, I always like to unscrew this, extend it fully out, and then we're going to test her again just to see. Always turn your motor off before you do that. It's a good idea. All right, that one started. And we're running really good. Chain's moving on the drive shaft really nice. It's oiling. You can see that it's oiling. She's all good to go. Gonna get this one out and move on to the next one.